Let's have a look at some TikToks, because I feel like something that's been going around lately a lot is this whole argument of like, don't make your kids your whole life. And there's some mums out there who are like, you still need to be your own person. You still need to be, working out and looking after yourself and going out without your kids and seeing your friends and whatever else, and like living your life without your kids in them, or like apart from your kids, outside of motherhood. And so I thought we'd look at some TikToks around it. I felt like for me, I was in survival mode for so long, especially after like having our second baby and then having our third. It just like kept happening to me, and this is something that I really had to like look at and address for myself as a mum. So let's have a look at the first one.
Somebody said to me, you can't make your kids your whole life, because what happens if, God forbid, they die or something happens to them? I'm done. I'm cooked. My heart, like, okay, what are we supposed to make our whole life? What is the entire point of having children? Is we are creating an extension of ourselves, and if that extension of myself is gone, I'm out. I'm gone. That is part of me is missing. I don't need a job or hobbies or friends. My heart is gone. What do you mean I can't
tell if he's being sarcastic or not.
That is the entire purpose of them. They make the world
Okay. I think I get it. I've felt this before. But I just think that this thing is like, it's very relatable for us because we all love our kids so much. Like, I can't even put into words how I felt when I first met my little baby. And I felt this sense of like, oh my God, I've actually brought her into the world. And so I need to give her everything. Like, I need to, make sure that I give her the perfect childhood, the perfect this, and like protect her and all of these things. And so I completely relate to that sentiment of like, well, what's the point of having kids if you're not even really going to like have them in your life, or like you're going to live, you're going to do things without them or whatever. And I totally get that. But I think what these people mean when they say that, like have a life outside of your kids, they don't mean like, you've got to stop caring about your kids, because parents care about their kids so much. And I think that's the thing. It's not that we aren't caring about our kids enough. It's that we're caring about our kids so much. And then it's kind of like the line gets blurred between where is that too much and then where is that not enough. I am kind of in the middle ground, because I'm like, I agree. Like, I'm not one that just like gallivants around the country, like leaving my children to go on girls' weekends away and things like that. I'm still very much attached to my children. I don't think I've spent a night away from them. Actually, I do have some eye appointments that I have to go to in Sydney because I had a melanoma removed from my eye a few years ago. But anyway, maybe like, I don't know, in total 10 nights away. Kind of like, yeah, but what's happening is parents they are living for their kids, and then they're forgetting that this is their life too. And so I'm actually at this place where I'm like, I want to live with my kids in it, and I want to still have my life inside motherhood. And, before we get into it a little bit more, I have a free PDF download exactly describing what I mean. It's called Activate Your Hot Mum Era. It's a little 7-day guide, free PDF that you can get in the description below. And it just helps you like answer these little questions and like gives you some tools that you can use to do what I'm sort of talking about, like actually still living your life, but inside motherhood. And check that out in the description below. Let's go through some TikToks where it's kind of illustrating though what I'm saying. So, let's have a look at this mum here. Literally cry. I feel that to my freaking soul. Okay, I had 3 colicky babies. I used to spend hours going around and around and around that freaking kitchen bench trying to settle them, shushing them. Like, I have not shushed so much in my life. I did not know that like half of the newborn phase, like no one said to me, you're going to be shushing all of the time. Like, you're going to be shushing more than you've ever experienced in your life. When I was a first-time mum, the biggest shock was that, it wasn't just like a few nights of sleep deprivation, like after you've had your baby. No. It was like weeks to months, possibly to years for some people. Like we have had years of like sleep loss because of, having 3 children and none of them enjoying sleeping. Like none of them wanted to sleep in their bassinet. And, I still remember with our first baby, she hit the 4-month sleep regression in about 3 months and nothing was working. Like she wasn't feeding to sleep. She wasn't letting me rock her to sleep. Nothing. It was getting to the point where like I didn't know what to do and she was still just crying. And so I had to seek help. I was like, it's been months of this and I had to get a sleep consultant, and I didn't like full sleep train her. I didn't just like leave her in the cot, but like I had to work to help her see that like her bassinet was a safe place. And then it got her to a point where I could eventually feed her back to sleep again and then like put her in the bassinet, and then I would get more stretches of sleep. But I think this is the thing. This is what I'm saying is that, yeah, we can like live for our kids like around the clock, but then you get this result like this poor mum is going through where it's literally a nightmare for her. Like that feeling of sleep deprivation. If you haven't felt it before, I cannot explain it. I felt it in my eyes. Like my eyes would sting. I would get eye twitches. I would get headaches at the front of my forehead. I still feel it now because I've had a rough night with Penelope. I can feel that feeling in my body. It wasn't just my eyes. It was my whole body. My jaw would feel tight. My chest would feel tight. I would feel this weird feeling all through my body, like kind of like when you're hungover, like a seedy feeling or something, but it was horrible. It was literally like, it was almost like having flu-like aches and pains. That's kind of how I would describe it. And, I couldn't think straight. I couldn't think for myself. Like that poor mum in that video, she can't even think straight. Obviously, that baby needs so much love and so much care, but it is crying so much that it's like it gets in your ears. Like you can't, I'm pretty sure they say that sometimes the level of noise is the same as a jet plane flying. Like it is so crazy, like an engine of a jet plane. We need to be careful to not get confused with, like she doesn't like motherhood. She doesn't like being a mum. It's like, no, she's in the trenches and she needs support. She probably hasn't showered in a few days, or even if she has, she is completely overwhelmed with the amount of care that babies need around the clock. It's not just like a few hours in the day. It's not just like going to work for a day. Plus, they're your child. They are so attached to you. It's not like looking after somebody else's child. This is your child. You are like all encumbered. Is that the word? Like it is all encompassing or whatever. I don't know what that word is, but yeah, you know what I mean? Like it is all consuming. If you are not careful, you can be completely like lost in it. You don't know where the boundary is between your baby and yourself. It's just like completely blurred together. And I do truly believe in attachment parenting. I do. But I also think we need to be careful because there are mums in such bad survival mode that they are not coping. And then now it's like becoming this thing where it's not good for their family either. It's not good for their baby. It's not good for their partner, their husband. It's not good for their relatives or whoever is around. It's not good for them. It's not good for them. We time and time again care so much about our baby, which it makes me sound horrible. And I don't mean we shouldn't care, but I just mean, what about the needs of the mother though too? What about the needs of the mother? Yeah, the needs of the baby. We all know the needs of the baby. What about the needs of the mother? Because she, I'm going to sound woke saying this. I am almost sick of the word mother. Like, oh, she's just a mum now. She's just a mother. Like, she's a mother now. No, she is still a young woman trying to raise a child. She is still that same young woman that she was before. Yeah, she's gone through huge changes. Yeah, she feels like a whole new person. But no, let's not forget though, she is still that young woman. Now, before I get carried away, let's have a look at the next TikTok. So this one kind of also illustrates what I'm saying. So let's have a look. Exactly. Yeah. Fully recognize myself. Deeply drained. This is what I mean. Yeah. Feel guilty for everything. Like needing a break. And not doing it every moment. I think as well, like, let's have a look at the fantasy that look, I love that dad for saying that. I get that. And I get the sentiment behind it. I do. And I'm glad that dads are actually talking like that much, that they love their children that much, that they want to spend that much time with them. And like, of course, Tom and I, we're the same. Like, we have literally changed his work around so that he's home every single, like most of the time, almost every single night, 6 nights a week. And, you know, he's around so much more. It's a huge priority for us. But I just think there's a bit of fantasy there, you know, and it's kind of that similar feeling to before you become a mum. It's kind of how I felt. I was like, oh, you know, I can't wait to do, you know, little craft activities with my children. I can't wait. I used to have this like vision in my head of like, I can't wait till I can put a little cute backpack on them and little cute runners and a little cute hat, and we can go on a little bushwalk together and they can have their little bottles in their backpack and whatever. And it's like, it's actually kind of not like that. Maybe when they're at school age, but even then I would say nobody explained to me the mother load behind that, and the fact that they're so emotional. They've got their own self-will. A lot of the time it's not that cute, okay? It's like, oh crap, we forgot the drink bottle, we forgot this, oh but they don't want water, they want to have orange juice, or you know, now they're fighting with their sibling while we're on this bushwalk, or you know, they keep asking how bloody long till we get there or whatever, or they don't want to go on a freaking bushwalk, they just want to go to like Inflatable World or the playground or something, which I bloody am so sick of at the moment. That is kind of the reality. I think there's a bit of like fantasy there of like, yes, let's spend every single beautiful moment with our child, our adoring child that, you know, is just so, I don't know, it's just like this fantasy of like everything's perfect and everything's easy and let's do these beautiful activities with them and let's whatever. It's like, actually, there's a little bit of human experience involved, okay? At the end of the day, pregnancy is a sacrifice. It is literally a sacrifice on your body to have your child. And then on top of that, when you're birthing a child, and then when you have your child and you're literally feeding them with your body or not, and the whole burden that comes with that in society and whatever, having to like switch them to formula and bottle feed and do all these things, it's like, and plus, okay, when they're a newborn, you have to get up every 3 hours if they're sleeping. This is if they're a sleeping baby, you still have to wake them up every 3 hours to feed them. And if they're not a sleeping baby, you have to get up and tend to them all around the clock. Like, I can't express enough. Like, sometimes I feel like when I say that, like all around the clock, people just would almost like roll their eyes like, oh, what do you mean around the clock? No, I literally mean 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Like, my children would not go to sleep in the bassinet. So I was stuck in the nursing chair trying to get tiny winks of sleep while setting my alarm and snoozing it so that I didn't fully sleep because I was so worried about SIDS. Like, that whole thing is just so, like, I can feel it in my bones still. Like, you can tell by the way I'm talking. And I just think that there's a bit of like fantasy there. I thought it would be so beautiful and so sweet in this newborn bubble, because I used to see people with like these photo shoots of their newborns all like beautiful wrapped up and whatever. And I get that they're beautiful to have those, but I'm so glad now that on, you know, TikTok and Instagram, these things, we're actually talking about the realities of it, because it's like, actually, it's not just there. It's not just that. It's not just these beautiful moments. Like, of course, I miss my child as a newborn so much. I was looking at photos of her the other day, the little beautiful head that you have to hold up and their little tiny beautiful body. But I'm like, no, but at the end of the day though, it is actually such hard work. Let's not forget that. Let's not pretend here. Yes, of course, we want to spend every waking hour with our child, but sometimes having a toddler is really hard. Teething is hard. Tantrums are hard. Cutting out screen time is hard. Coming up with activities to do with them is hard. Disciplining them and saying like, or like not disciplining them as in like smacking them, but just like saying no to things, like saying no to another cookie or no to spoiling your dinner or whatever. Those things, like parenting, is hard, okay? Parenting is hard. Plus, if you haven't looked at it, my last video where I talk about, you know, how the ABC came out saying that, you know, birth rates are declining so much and it's probably due to parental stress. I'm like, well, of course it's due to parental stress. So that is not a shock to anybody. It's like, it is so hard as well these days. We need 2 incomes to sustain a family life. We need mothers to be working. You know, the daycare drop-offs, they are hard. You know, dropping off my baby when she was just 5.5 months old, that was freaking hard. Dropping off even my toddler when they're at least like even 3 years old or 4 years old is hard sometimes. It's like, my God, okay, I get the fantasy of like, yes, I want to spend every waking hour with my child. Isn't there a middle ground? You know, for me, I had to learn ways of living my life inside motherhood. Not in a way where I felt like I wanted to escape it, but in a way that was like, I still get to live my life with my kids around. You know, I maybe get to invite my friends over for a couple of wines in the afternoon with my children eating dinner, running around, mucking around. Maybe my friend has other kids that they can hang around together. Maybe it's something as simple as like in the mornings, lighting a candle when my toddlers are all up, because that's something that I like doing. Of course, like putting it at a height that they cannot reach it. After a while, they wouldn't actually care about the candle so much. It sort of became mummy's thing around them. You know, like even something else I love doing with my kids is getting a magazine that I love. And then once I've like read it a couple of times, or I could get like 2 copies of it, they can like cut out the little bits and like glue and paste. And that's something that I love doing. I love scrapbooking and that kind of thing, junk journaling. And so I'm like, perfect. Like we can do that together as a family. You know, I can go and buy them games and stuff like that we can start doing together as a family before we go to bed at night. I can show them Taylor Swift. I can show them, you know, I don't know, Justin Bieber and like whatever. I can show them those things. It doesn't have to all just be the Wiggles and whatever. This gets to also be your life too. And your kids get to be invited into your life too. Like even Molly at the moment, she's 4 and she loves cooking with daddy. She loves it. She literally, I didn't even teach her. She goes into the kitchen and she says, "Hey dad, what can I do? What can I do to help?" It's crazy. That's something I had to be literally taught when I was a teenager. You need to come into the kitchen and ask what you can do to help, or you need to offer help. Molly already does that because she actually just like loves it. That is the important shit right there. And I know that it's hard and I know that it takes patience. Like honestly, baking with my children is probably one of the most stressful experiences of my life. But at the same time, I know that I'm allowing them into my life and I'm actually giving them tools, and I know that this is going to lead somewhere. And I know that when they're older, when they're teenagers or when they're young adults, we can all bake together. We can talk about different recipes. We can get into the kitchen together. We can maybe sip on a tea or a wine one day. We can talk about what's for dessert. We can do these things together because that's what we've always done as a family. And so, yeah, I get what that guy means, but I also think we need to be careful not to just like feel like we have to be living for our child. Why can't we also live for ourselves? So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. And remember, if you're feeling burnt out, if you're feeling like one of those mums in those TikToks, that was me. I have been there again and again and again. Even this week, I was overwhelmed. Like Penelope has been so hard just with like being sick and stuff. I know it's not her fault, but like it is just so hard on a mum, like to, you know, navigate all that. But plus like going to work and just doing all the things. But yeah, if you feel like that, I've got a free PDF download that you can get in the description below called Activate Your Hot Mum Era. And that is what it's all about. It's about how to, you know, be that mum that feels good in herself again around her kids. How can we do more of that? How can we do it? And so I've got little activities you can do in under 5 minutes every day for 7 days, just to help you already like start to brainstorm and think about that kind of thing. So anyway, check that out and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.